Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bexar County Court at Law number 6 and the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Motion to revoke probation docket. Today is Wednesday, September 1, 2021. This is Judge Wayne Christian. Throughout our hearings today, representing the state will be Mr. Guillermo Flores and Ms. Megan Galloway. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Ms. Gross, please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. The cases I have set for hearing today are cause 619095, State of Texas versus Monica Huron Aguilar with Mr. Ivan Barrera. I have 645879, State of Texas versus Preston McDaniel with Ms. Suzanne Kramer.
I'm present, Judge.
Thank you. I have 652528, State of Texas versus Christopher Inestrosa with Mr. Jesse Sanchez. I have cause 654070 and 654071, State of Texas versus Jose Guevara with Mr. Tony Hernandez. Cause 632391, State of Texas versus Jose Huerta with Mr. Joseph Acevedo. And cause 634471, State of Texas versus Stephanie M. Torres with Mr. Shannon Locke. Were we taking up any VTC cases this morning on Ms. Blackwell, or is that this afternoon?
Your Honor, I thought it was this afternoon.
Okay. You guys that are prisoners, I apologize. Just turn your microphones off because there's background noise in the jail until we're actually talking to you. Thank you. Okay. Let's start with Monica Huron Aguilar. Mr. Barrera, are you ready to proceed?
I'm ready, Your Honor.
This is cause number 619095, State of Texas versus Monica Huron Aguilar. This
Time is that going to count towards that?
is a motion to revoke community supervision. I have two documents from Ms. Aguilar and Mr. Barrera to identify their signatures on. The first is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Ms. Huron Aguilar, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Ms. Huron Aguilar, is this your signature on this? Actually, Mr. Brendel, the original attorney, signature is on this. And in fact, is that correct, Mr. Barrera?
It is, Your Honor.
And the next document I have is trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, which states as a revocation of the defendant's community supervision. And the defendant has a right to appeal the court's action, revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. And Ms. Huron Aguilar, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir, it is.
And also, Mr. Barrera, is this Mr. Brendel, the original attorney signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And my understanding, Mr. Barrera, this is uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that accurate?
That's correct, Your Honor, with an explanation.
Fair enough. Okay, Ms. Aguilar, Huron Aguilar, and clause 619095 on the motion to revoke community supervision. How do you plead, ma'am? And normally it'd be true or not true, and I always say with an explanation because everybody needs to explain what's going on.
True with explanation.
Fair enough. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Ms. Huron Aguilar's probation, please?
Yes, sir. Her reporting has been good. We last saw her on August 27th of 2021. She's paid $22 to date, has a balance of $1,055, and is delinquent $202. She was not assessed any community service or any programs. She has tested positive for marijuana on one occasion. Her officer is recommending that she be subjected to weekly UAs and that a drug offender education program be added to her conditions of probation.
This is a theft. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Her criminal history includes arrests for theft 200 to 750, 2 charges of theft 20 to 200, stolen property, theft 20 to 500, theft 50 to 500, and theft of service 200 to 750.
I wonder how a theft case was not assigned the ATSC anti-theft course. Is there any way of understanding that?
No, sir. I checked the KPI and the court records and nothing was assessed.
Okay, and I apologize. What is the probation officer's recommendation, please?
To add a drug offender education program and weekly drug testing.
And Mr. Barrera, what are you requesting?
Yes, Judge, I'd recommend, I think the dope class is fine. I'd recommend though bi-monthly testing. Marijuana does stay in your system for about 30 days. So I think bi-monthly is sufficient. She does have a full-time job. So that's what I think bi-monthly is probably better.
Where does Ms. Huron Aguilar work?
Mercury Insurance, sir. I make $18 an hour.
And I apologize. Say again where you work. I missed that.
Mercury Insurance. I make
Okay.
$18 an hour.
Thank you, ma'am. How long have you worked there?
Actually, I started at the same time our probation started, so maybe about a month. And
Ms.
prior
Aguilar-
to
Thank you. Go
prior
ahead. Mhm.
prior to that, I was on unemployment. I worked at the airport. I leased cars, and when the pandemic hit, my the company budget that I worked for, they completely shut down the entire office. And then when they reopened, my shift was taken because of the lack of, I guess, travel, and people weren't renting cars. So that's why I didn't go back. And I started at Mercury. As soon as my unemployment ended, I had a job within a week.
And the big question, are you going to stop smoking marijuana with your buddies?
Honestly, I don't have buddies that I smoke with. I am a solo smoker. Before social distancing was a thing, I was always at home. I'm not a partier. I'm not a drinker. I'm a smoker for my personal issues that I deal with.
You're going to be able to stop using marijuana for us. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Good answer, ma'am. Okay, state recommendation, please.
Judge, the state agrees with probation's recommendation, and we also recommend the ATAC course.
And where is there a location where this last theft took place? Ms. Aguilar, Huron Aguilar, you would know that. Was it a store, I guess, or what would it be?
And no, sir. Actually, I hadn't shoplifted at a store in 16 years. I've had a clean record. I actually stole a money order from my boss, and the
Okay, I got you.
that I did that. She went to India for a month and asked me to wait to be paid for a month, and I chose the illegal thing instead of
And
waiting.
ma'am, how long have you been in jail this time?
Since Friday, sir.
Since Saturday? So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days. That sound right?
I was booked Friday. They arrested me Friday morning at the probation
6 days.
office.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Huron Aguilar on call 619-095. The court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke community supervision with an explanation. I deny the state's motion to revoke your community supervision, or you continued on community supervision with all prior requirements with a sanction of 15 days in the Bexar County Jail, credit for time served, judgment satisfied. Altering, amending your conditions, adding the DOEP marijuana course and the ATSE anti-theft course. Weekly UAs, show me 4 clean weekly UAs in a row. I'll put you back on monthly UAs. I won't know if you've done that. Let your attorney know. He'll let me know. I'll get it verified. It takes care of that. Substantial compliance in all other areas of your probation within 10 days. I think you need to catch up on your monies. There's no community service. Don't worry about that. And so we've got DOEP, ATSE, and go back to work. State, what did I miss?
Nothing further, Judge, from the state.
Susan, what did I miss?
Nothing, just a couple of quick instructions.
Sure, go ahead.
Ms. Aguilar, in the next 24 hours, you'll be receiving an email from your officer with your alternate amended conditions. You need to sign those conditions and send them back. And then you also need to call your officer as soon as you get out, let your officer know what happened today, and make sure that your next appointment is set up, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
And when I say substantial compliance, Susan, what else does she need to do besides get registered for these 2 new courses, stop smoking marijuana, and start catch up on our money. Is that kind of where we're at?
Yes, Judge, that's it. Just stay
All
out
right.
of trouble, pay her money, get her classes, and stop smoking weed.
Ms. Huron Aguilar, have you got any questions, ma'am?
No, sir, I thank the court.
All good. Mr. Brewer, have you got any questions, sir?
That's it for me, Judge.
Y'all are out of here. Thanks very much. Good luck, Ms. Huron Aguilar.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, let's see. Ms. Kramer, are you ready on Mr. McDaniel?
Yes, Judge.
This is cause 645-879, State of Texas versus Preston McDaniel. This is a first amended motion to revoke community supervision. Representing the defendant is Ms. Suzanne Kramer. As previously mentioned, representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross. Our mind is still under oath. Representing the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office, our Assistant Criminal District Attorneys, Guillermo Flores and Megan Galloway. Initially, Mr. McDaniel and Ms. Kramer, I need you to identify your signatures on two documents. The first is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. In fact, Mr. McDaniel, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Ms. Kramer, as attorney for Mr. McDaniel, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. The next document is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. It states is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. McDaniel?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Kramer, as attorney for Mr. McDaniel, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Kramer, my understanding is that this is going to be an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay, Mr. McDaniel, in clause 645-879 on the first amended motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
Plead true.
And Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. McDaniel's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. McDaniel reported as directed up until March 21st. Then he missed 4 months and was not seen again until he was in the Bexar County Jail on August 24th of 2021. He's only paid $130 towards his fees. He has a balance of $767 and he is delinquent $548. He has not completed any of his 36 hours of community service, and we have no record of enrollment or completion of the DWI education, victim impact panel, CATSNP program, or the drug offender education program. He was on Smart Start mobile, and he quit utilizing the device, went into lockout, and Smart Start has now written off the device effective June 30th of 2021. He's had 3 positive drug tests, 6 failure to submit to drug testing, and 1 positive for benzodiazepines. This is his first violation report, first MTR. His prior arrests include possession of marijuana, 4 ounces to 5 pounds, unauthorized use of a vehicle, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram, evading arrest, DWI, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 1 to 4 grams, unlawful carrying, and a DWI. His officer is recommending revocation, and his original fine was $400.
And Ms. Kramer, what are you requesting?
Yes, Judge. The prosecutor and I talked, and she said that she thought the probation department was recommending continued, but that's fine. As far as those prior arrests, Mr. McDaniel only has the 1 felony conviction on a UUMD. He does have a DWI that got rejected for further investigation. I'm told Guillermo is looking into that as to whether or not to file it. That has not been determined by him yet. Thinking that the recommendation from probation was a revocation, continuing, although I told Megan that I sincerely doubted that you would be inclined to do so. If you are inclined to continue him, that's great. He does say that he's got a little sister that he takes care of and he doesn't want to lose his job. If you do not and you're looking for revocation, Megan and I discussed a revocation with a 94-day jail sentence.
State recommendation?
Judge, I was going to recommend that the defendant be placed on scram, have weekly UAs and substantial compliance within 30 days. But I am in agreement with the 94-day jail sanction if that's the route that you are apt to take, Your Honor.
Mr. McDaniel, on cause 645-879, the court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke community first amended motion to revoke community supervision. With an explanation, I grant the state's motion to revoke your probation. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, assess a $400 fine plus court cost, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. My records show he has 47 days credit. I don't know what the sheriff's given these days, but he's probably pretty close to getting out right there. Anything
Judge,
further? Yeah.
Yes, Judge. He actually does have some days credit on the felony UUMD that he is entitled to on this case. He's got the 94 days just on the time he served on your case, but he does have some extra days. If I could just give you that cause number for the record so that somebody could look into it. It's 2019 CR 10633. And on 12/1 of 20, when he was doing some time already on our case, he did 90 days on that. So that should give him another chunk of days.
2019 CR 10633.
Correct, Judge.
And what kind of case was that? Is that the evading?
That was UUMV.
And explain to me how the time on that case is applied to this case.
He got revoked on that probation at the time that he was sitting in the jail on this case too, on a motion. So there's some of it that overlaps.
Okay. Well, whatever the sheriff figures out, it's up to the sheriff on how he does that. He gets credit for time served. If he's legally entitled to any credit, feel free to talk to the sheriff. If there's a problem, get back to me, okay?
Yes, I just wanted the cause number for the record so the sheriff would know to
I'll be happy to put the cause number on the judgment. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. McDaniel?
No, Judge.
Good luck, Mr. McDaniel. Thank you, Ms. Kramer.
Can I have Pat a breakout room with him so I can explain to him what just happened?
Of course.
Thank you.
Hang on just a sec.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one I've got is cause 652-528. State of Texas versus Christopher Inostroza, represented by Mr. Jesse Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez, are you ready to proceed? Is Jesse with us?
Your Honor, Mr. Sanchez had to step out and go to another Zoom, Your Honor.
Okay, let's go to the next one. I've got cause number 654-070 and 654-071, State of Texas versus Jose Guevara, represented by Mr. Tony Hernandez. And let's see what these are. These are both motions to revoke community supervision. Are you ready to proceed at this time, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's start with cause 654-070. Once again, for the record, representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath, and representing the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office, Assistant Criminal District Attorney Guillermo Flores and Megan Galloway. In both cause 654-070 and 654-071, Mr. Guevara and Mr. Hernandez, I have two documents I need you to identify your signatures on. The first is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Mr. Guevara, is this your signature on both documents, one in case 654-070 and one in case 654-071?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Hernandez, as attorney for Mr. Guevara, these are your signatures on each of these documents also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have for each case, one in cause 654-070 and one in cause 654-071, are documents entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which are both marked is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's action revoking the community supervision but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on each of these documents, Mr. Guevara?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Hernandez, as attorney for Mr. Guevara, is this your signature on each of these documents?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And my understanding is these are both going to be uncontested motions to revoke community supervision. Is that correct, Mr. Hernandez?
There'll be a plea of true, Judge, to the
Okay.
delegation number 2.
Gotcha. In cause 654070 on the motion to revoke community supervision. How does Mr. Guevara plead?
True, Your Honor.
And Ms. Rose, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Guevara's probation in cause 654070?
Radiology technology.
Yes, Your Honor. His reporting has been good. We last saw him on July 21st of 2021. There have been no payments on this case. This case is running concurrent with fees, and he has a balance of $20 and he's delinquent $20. There were no community service hours assessed in this case. We have no record of his enrollment or completion in the stress class or the drug offender education class. He has one positive drug test for methamphetamines. This is his first violation report, first MTR. He has, I'm sorry. The officer is recommending that he go on weekly drug testing and that you add the intensive outpatient program with CATS. This is his first violation, first MTR.
And for everybody's understanding, in cause 654070, Mr. Guevara is charged with possession of dangerous drugs. Do we know what drug specifically that was in this case?
Mr. Guevara,
I don't, Judge.
I believe it was Xanax. Mr.
Okay,
Guevara,
that makes
is that
sense.
correct?
And in cause 654071, Mr. Guevara was originally charged with possession of controlled substance PG3 less than 28 grams. What kind of substance was that?
Mr. Guevara, what was the second substance? You need to unmute yourself.
There were Suboxone strips. Suboxone, or it's a medication.
Okay. Mr. Hernandez, what are you requesting in cause 654070?
Your Honor, we're asking the court to continue him on probation with the recommendation from the probation officer to allow weekly testing and the intensive supervision program. The intensive outpatient treatment program. Mr. Guevara was actually arrested at probation when he reported in August, on August 19th. He's been in jail since then. He is the primary caretaker of his son, who's 3 years old. He's been in jail since the 19th, continuously on just these 2 cases. He has no new cases.
And Judge, if I may,
Sure.
I need to correct the record. I had the fees reversed on the 2 cases. He's paid $29, has a balance of $798, and he's delinquent $145. Otherwise, everything else is the same.
State recommendation?
Yes, I understand. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, the state agrees with probation's recommendation. However, we would add that the defendant be in substantial compliance by registering for his classes within 30 days of today.
And we have no objection to that, Judge.
Ms. Gross, what's the status of beds at SATA for gentlemen?
Judge, it's still taking a good while to get the medical clearance, and once they're medically cleared, it's taking 4 to 6 weeks to get them moved over.
And Your Honor, I don't know that with his history that he would be accepted there.
I understand. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Are these both Class B offenses, State? Is that what it looks like?
Yes, Judge.
You agree, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, Judge.
All right, here's the deal. He's using methamphetamine, which exceeds by a great margin our ability to address that on outpatient. So if he's interested in going to inpatient, I'm going to let him volunteer, but he's going to have to volunteer. I'm not just going to order him over there to the substance abuse treatment facility. I'm trying to be as candid as I can. I think it's going to take a month minimum, maybe 6 weeks in jail to clear medical and then be available to go to SATA if a bed is available. Susan, would you say that's accurate assessment?
Judge, it's a month to 6 weeks after they're medically cleared. And depending on his background and what he's got, it could take anywhere from a couple of weeks to a few months to get him medically cleared before he goes to SATA.
All right, so that's not really good news for the defense. I don't know that I would be excited about doing that if I was a defendant. It depends on how much he's interested in rehabilitation, counseling stuff. The other option is revocation. I'm going to run them concurrent. Tony, I'm not going to bang him like you know I'm capable of doing, but that's what his two options are. If you need to talk about that, we can put you in a chat room. If you already know the answer, you can let us know.
Judge, one question. If he can come up with the funds to pay off his fees, would the court consider, I guess, reforming the judgment?
No. Good try, though. All right. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Guevara and cause 654070?
Judge, if I could be in a breakout room with Mr. Guevara.
Sure.
Judge, for the record, the possession of dangerous drugs is a Class A, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm still going to give him 6 months on each one. Tony, I'm not going to give him a year. Thank you, though, for correcting it. May the record reflect the judge nor the defense counsel knew the answer to that legal question after 40 plus or minus years of doing this. So thank you.
But I did get an answer beneficial to the client.
Y'all can go into breakout room 1. Y'all just need to join.
Will never even show up.
Should be able
We
to
don't
be
know
there.
where she is.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to cause 632-391 in the state of Texas versus Jose Huerta. Mr. Acevedo, are you ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
And my before we get into this, my documentation is that the defendant, it says plea not true. Are you requesting a contested hearing?
We are willing to plead true to 14. He's done everything else except balance of $10 and 24 hours of community service.
Okay, there appears to be several months that he is allegedly didn't report. He's going to plead not true to that.
We object to that. We object to hearsay.
Hearsay?
It's not consistent. He was making monthly payments and calling his probation officer, whom we just found out is no longer with probation.
Let me get to the bottom. Here's my understanding of the law as it currently is. He's welcome to plead either true or not true to any of these and go to me as a trier of fact to determine whether or not I think they're true or not true or mitigated, that kind of thing. He's also eligible to ask for a actually contested hearing. The probability is we're not going to get any more witnesses at a contested hearing than we have now, maybe his probation officer or something.
Well, she's no longer with the department. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, it's not a problem because she has all this documentation that Ms. Gross can read. So that's what you're entitled to under the law. I mean, we can try to subpoena her and bring her back and go through all that. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But he can either plead, he can request a fully contested hearing and plead not true to whatever he wants, or he can plead true or not true to any of these. And as you pointed out, there are several that are true with an explanation and several that are not true with an explanation. And then I'll make a determination whether or not I think they're true or not, or to what degree. You want to go in a breakout room and chat with your client about all those options?
Ms. Gross wanted to.
Judge, the prior officer is still with the department. They can probably be here in about 5 minutes if they're not already in a Zoom hearing, if you'd like them to come over.
Okay. But
which officer are we talking about?
Officer Naj, the only other assigned officer that has been assigned to this case.
There was someone else before that.
Not according to the records. He has had Officer Naj as of March 3rd of 2020. And when Ms. Naj became a court liaison officer, the case was transferred to Officer Izora Olmos. He's only ever had 2 officers. He may have been speaking to someone else on the phone, but Officer Naj was his only other assigned officer.
Your Honor, we'll plead true with the explanation.
Fair enough. That okay with you, Mr. Huerta?
Yes, sir. That is true. Lisa Naj was my probation officer.
Hold on.
I only heard from her very few times. But when Miss Patty said that she left to a different department, the new officer, I never talked or never met the officer.
Okay. All right, let's get into this. This is called 632-391, State of Texas versus Jose Huerta. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Representing the defendant is Mr. Joseph Acevedo, as previously mentioned, representing the state, our Assistant Criminal District Attorneys Guillermo Flores and Megan Galloway. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who our mind is still under oath. Mr. Huerta and Mr. Acevedo, the first item on my agenda is to have you identify your signatures on two documents. The first document is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Mr. Huerta, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
And for the record, I note that this says Jose Huerta, plea not true. But in my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Acevedo, he's going to plead true with an explanation to some of these allegations and not true with an explanation to some of these allegations. And then I'm going to make the ultimate determination whether they're true or not, in my opinion. Do you agree?
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right, fair enough. And the next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked as an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. Huerta?
Yes, sir, it is.
And as attorney for Mr. Huerta, Mr. Acevedo, is it also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And as previously mentioned, this is technically an uncontested motion to revoke, motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Although the defense has represented to the court and the state that the defendant is going to plead either true or not true with an explanation to each of these allegations, and the defense is coming to the court and not requesting a full-blown contested motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision hearing. Is that accurate, Mr. Acevedo?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Huerta and cause 632-391 on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. How do you plead, sir? And we can go allegation by allegation, and we have two number 5s. So for purposes of the record, I'm going to call the first one 5A and the second one 5B, and then we have a 14 and a 15. So let's start with condition 5A, which talks about failure to report for the months of June, July, August, September, October, November, and December 2020.
True with an explanation.
All right. The next one is what I will call, for purposes of the record, 5B, which says that Mr. Huerta failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the month of January 2021.
True with an explanation.
And number 14 talks about failure to complete 24 hours of community service.
True.
And number 15 talks about failure to provide proof of a theft level 1 program completion, I'm guessing.
That was completed, and so that's not true.
Right, so
completed now.
Would you agree? It may have been true at the time they filed this, but he's since done it. Is that kind of what you're telling me? All right.
Yes, he
Let's say
couldn't
not,
get verification of completing it, so he went ahead and did it again.
okay, let's say not true with an explanation. Is that okay with the defense?
That's fine.
All right. And Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Huerta's probation, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Huertas performed very poorly on probation in that he only ever reported 2 times. We have not seen him since May the 4th of 2020. He is paid $1,182 and has a balance of $10. He has not completed any of his 24 hours of community service. I received this morning a completion of the theft class as of yesterday. His prior criminal history includes 1 arrest for possession of dangerous drugs. This is his 2nd violation report, his first MTR. The original violation report MTR, due to COVID, you ordered that that he order a scram device and do weekly UAs, which he did not comply with because he's never submitted to a drug test. His officer is recommending revocation, and his original fine was $350.
And Mr. Acevedo, what are you requesting?
Judge, we're requesting if the court would conditionally terminate him on SAT with paying the balance of $10 and buying out the 24 hours of community service. The situation was, this was during the COVID period. And what to me is not consistent with purposefully not reporting to the probation department is every month he was making his payments of $125 and then simultaneously calling and leaving messages for his probation officer and was not getting any further instructions. So to me, that's not consistent with purposefully just absconding. Every month he was making the payments, and that's how we got to a balance at $10. But when he would leave a voice message, nobody was calling him back.
Judge, if I may, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So,
go ahead, Mr. Acevedo.
So it was not intentional, it was not purposeful. He was making monthly payments. He was calling. Mr. Huerta, you've heard what I was explaining to the court. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir, it is.
Can you tell the court what you were doing?
So every month I would call, I believe on the 3rd or the 4th of every month, I would receive a call back or any emails. I never received Lisa Naj's email. I never received any responses back from her. I did come into contact with her for March, April, and May. We did talk. She did ask about my payment. She asked about my employment. She asked my whereabouts and my community service hours. After May, I did not receive a response back at all. I did continue making my payments $125 a month. I paid $125 twice every month, pay early and everything. The balance of $10, I did not know I had that. I'm willing to pay everything. The original copy of the anti-theft class level 1, the original copy of the certificate cannot be found. So I completed it again last night.
And if you were to be drug tested right now, what would you be?
I would be clean.
And during this period of time, where had you been working for the last how many months?
I've been working for I worked for Jimmy John's for a few months. I was released from there in December of 2020. From December 17th all the way to April 17th, I was working for U-Haul. I was a hitch pro mechanic for them. I was unfortunately I was relieved of my duty due to my being arrested. So from that point, I have not had employment. Yesterday I did have an interview for a solar panel business, and they like to hire me, but I'm just I want to get this situated right now and get everything done.
So right now you've been on full house arrest since you got arrested for this. So how many days have you been on full house arrest?
I was arrested. I was just on the 17th. I was released on the 19th. From the 19th from today, I've been in house arrest. I have not left my house at all.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Gross, during the time frame that Mr. Huerta allegedly was not reporting, I assume there was no in-person reporting due to the COVID virus going around. Is that correct? Or is this before COVID?
Judge, if I can explain a few things. When we last saw the defendant on May the 4th, he reported as directed and everything else. And then it was within a couple of days that the department decided that it would be in everyone's best interest to not see people in person. So an email was sent out to the defendant on May the 8th. And that—
What year are we talking about? May? What year?
May 8th, 2020.
Got it.
And this email advised the defendant, this email went to every defendant in the department. And it advised that we were now going to be doing all of our reporting via Zoom, just like we're doing right now. However, if there was a situation that required a person-to-person that was still a possibility. All of the Zoom account information was emailed to the defendant on May 26, 2020, and he was given his first Zoom appointment for June the 4th. He was emailed this information. He was sent a reminder text on June the 2nd of 2020, and he failed to report for that Zoom hearing. On that same day, the officer attempted to call the defendant and left a very long voicemail on his machine and requested a call back as soon as possible. He failed to call back. Another text message was sent on July 2nd of 2020 about making payments and the fact that he needed to join another Zoom meeting on August the 5th. Again, he failed to show up. On August the 5th, 2020, the officer again called the defendant, and this pattern just continues to repeat itself until present day when the motion to revoke was filed. So the probation department has done their due diligence in an effort to try and contact the defendant and accommodate the scheduling during COVID.
Go ahead, Mr. Acevedo. Sure.
Ms. Rose, are you reading from a summary or you're reading from the actual entries?
I am reading from the actual entries in our court system.
May I see the entries that you're referring to? And what email was it sent to?
The email that it was sent to was, hang on here. Well, first of all, the email that we have on file is huerta4607@gmail.com. And that is the email in which the correspondence was sent to. And the phone number that we continually tried to call ends in 2658. I'm not going to give the whole number for privacy purposes.
Mr. Huerta, is that your email and is that your phone number?
Did you say Huerta 4607 or Huerta J 4607?
Huerta J 4607.
Yes, and that is my current email at the same time, and at the same time I was on probation.
Okay, and that's where we have sent all of our correspondence. And then again, all of the text messages and phone messages were left at a number ending in 2658.
Yes, and those are both my information and everything.
With regards to the payments, do you show bi-weekly payments made during this period of time? Bi-weekly payments made?
Are you waiting for a question to be answered? I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm looking it up. Okay, I am showing that a payment was received on April 6th, April 28th, July 22nd, September 8th, October 6th, and October 20th of 2020. So he wasn't making payments every other week as he stated. He was paying sporadically, and he's left with a $10 balance at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, and I apologize. You lost me. Has he paid in full except for $10? That was your, no, he's paid up to currency except for $10.
Judge, this case is expired effective in March of 2021, and he has a balance of $10.
And all of that was paid prior to the being arrested.
I got it. State recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor, the state recommends revocation, enter an adjudication of guilt. And also, Judge, since the defendant made substantial payments, the state recommends a judgment satisfied.
Anything further, Mr. Acevedo?
Judge, as you well know, the type of allegation that he's on probation for will substantially close many doors in his life. We'd ask if the court would terminate him MSAT, give him credit for the jail arrest, pay the balance of $10, and pay 24 hours of community service at the rate to the charitable organization that the court requests.
Mr. Huerta, on cause 632-391, the court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, except for number 15, which is a plea of not true with an explanation, and the court accepts pleas of true with an explanation to the condition 5A for the record, 5B for the record, and 14. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of theft, $100 to $750. I sentence you to 90 days in the Bexar County Jail, a $1,000 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. You're to report to the Bexar County Jail at 9 a.m. on Monday, September 6, 2021. I think he's got 2 days credit on my records. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Huerta?
Nothing to be stated.
Good luck, Mr. Huerta. Thank you, Mr. Acevedo.
Judge, with regards to the credit, you giving him credit for the jailhouse arrest?
I'm sorry, giving him credit for jail? Is that what your question is?
Arrest? Yes, he's on full house arrest.
Yeah, full GPS, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that doesn't count for jail.
Okay. Will the court permit him? He just got a new job.
That's why he got 90 days instead of 6 months.
Okay. Will the court permit him to do work release? He just got this new job under house arrest that he paid for it.
The jail does not have work release anymore, but they do have house arrest, but I'm going to deny that.
Okay. I'm sorry, when does he just turn himself in, Your Honor?
Monday, the 6th of September, which is this coming Monday at 9 a.m.
And you'll allow him to participate in work release?
No, there is no work release during COVID. What they now call work release, before COVID, work release was they slept in the jail and they went to work. If we could do that, I'd be ecstatic. We could do that. But they don't do that now, is my understanding. Now what they call work release is he's home on full GPS and goes to work and goes home, which is not the same as being in jail. That's what they've got going. So I'm denying him work release if that's what work release is. If they've changed it and he sleeps in the jail and goes to work during the day, I'd consider it again, but I don't think they're doing that now.
Okay. Monday, May 6th? I'm sorry, yeah.
Monday, 9 a.m. Mr. Huerta, thank your attorney. He saved you 90 days in jail. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Huerta?
No, Your
No,
Honor.
sir.
Good luck, Mr. Huerta. Thank you, Mr. Acevedo.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Back on the record on 654-070 and 654-071, State of Texas versus Jose Guevara. Mr. Hernandez, have you had enough time to chat with your client about what he'd like to do with regard to either inpatient or jail?
Your Honor, in a breakout room, we were having trouble getting Mr. Guevara in there, so they're in there now. They're just discussing it now.
And we'll hold off on
This is
that.
back and Mr. Locke is here.
Stand by. Okay. Mr. Sanchez, are we ready on Mr. Inestrosa?
Yes, Judge.
Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
All right, good for me. Squad 652-528, State of Texas versus Christopher Inestrosa, represented by Mr. Jesse Sanchez. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. The first item on my agenda is I need to have both Mr. Inestrosa and Mr. Sanchez identify their signatures on two documents. The first document is entitled Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. The second document is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Inestrosa, is this your signature on each of these documents, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Sanchez, as attorney for Mr. Inestrosa, is this your signature on each of these documents?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. For the record, the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal document is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Once again, representing the state, our Assistant Criminal District Attorneys, Guillermo Flores and Ms. Megan Galloway. Representing the Bexar County CSED and Ms. Susan Gross, who our mind is still under oath. Mr. Sanchez, my understanding is this is going to be an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is, Judge.
All right. Mr. Inestrosa, in cause 652-528 on the motion to revoke community supervision. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Would that
True.
be true, Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, it is, Judge.
All right, court accepts the plea of true with an explanation on all the allegations in the motion to revoke community supervision in clause 652-528. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Inestrosa's probation, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Inestrosa has not yet reported to probation as he was granted on July 20th of 2021. He has made no payments, has a balance of $630. He is delinquent $63. He has completed none of his 48 hours of community service. We have no proof of enrollment or completion of the victim impact panel, CAPSNP, or DWI intervention. We have no drug tests on file as he was just placed on probation. This is his first violation report, first motion to revoke. He is on Smart Start Mobile. He is currently testing 4 times a day, and he has skipped 14 times. His criminal history includes arrest for possession of marijuana 0 to 2 ounces and DWI first. His officer is recommending that his Smart Start Mobile be increased to 8 times per day, and that he continue on with getting his classes registered within the next 10 days.
Mr. Sanchez, let's talk about skipping tests on the Smart Start Mobile. What's that all about?
Yes, Judge, he works as a waiter, and a couple of times when he went to work, he forgot the smart device, he's indicated to me. And as a waiter, it was difficult for him to, when he's working on the tables, to go back and, I think, blow into the smart device. He is aware that he made some big mistake of not doing that 4 times a day. He knows he has to do it 8 times a day. And he said he will do it as required.
Okay. Each of those tests has a 2-hour window to blow in. So, saying that the reason you can't blow in the machine is because you're a waiter and you have to work isn't really working for me. So I guess I'm getting to the point where, is Mr. Inestrosa willing to go on a Scram device for $350 a month, which is a lot more fun than jail?
Yes, Judge, he's shaking his head also.
Mr. Inestrosa, are you willing to do that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's the plan. State recommendation?
Take least with the court's suggestion, Judge, with Scram. We're okay with that.
You don't have to blow into Scram. That's a wonderful thing. And how many days in jail have you been so far, Mr. Inestrosa?
I've been since the 19th, sir, about roughly 11 days.
Thank you.
Judge, I'm showing he has 26 days credit.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And if the court so orders Scram, we ask that he be allowed 10 days along with overlap.
Correct. And where are we on the CAPSNP program? Has he attended that or done anything with that yet?
No, Judge, he's not enrolled for any of his programs. He's only been on since July 15th. So he's been in jail. He was only on probation for a month and hadn't even seen his officer by the time he was arrested on the motion to revoke.
I got you. State, you just gave me a recommendation, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. Mr. Inostroza, cause 652-528, the court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke community supervision with an explanation. Deny the state's motion to revoke your probation or to continue on probation with all prior requirements with a sanction of 30 days in the Bexar County Jail. Credit for time served has been satisfied, altering and amending conditions, adding the Scram Cam ankle device within 10 days of your release from jail. Continue your Smart Start mobile blows until such time as the Scram is active, then you can turn in your Smart Start mobile. Substantial compliance in all other areas within 10 days from getting out of jail, which means you need to register for all these courses you're supposed to be taking. You may not start them within 10 days, but you need to be registered for them so you know what's coming. And my primary focus is on this Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, which is our outpatient drug program, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you got any questions, Mr. Inostroza?
Is the $30 days?
You've already done it, so you'll get out as soon as they get this order. And I'm the first one to tell you that the jail is very inefficient. You may be in there one more day before they let you out. I don't know how they're going to do that. They will receive my order to let you out today. Now, what they do with it and how long it takes them, I apologize. I don't have any control over.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Sanchez can yell at him if he wants to. That'd be okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Inostroza, in the next 24 hours, you'll be receiving an email from your officer. It's going to have your amended conditions. You need to sign it via email and send it back. They will also be sending you the referral sheet so you can go get your Scram device. Once you get your Scram device on your ankle and provide proof to your officer, they'll send me a request to remove Smart Start. The judge will sign it. I'll give it back to your officer. They'll send it to Smart Start. Then you can go turn it in. But once you get strapped with Scram, you can quit blowing, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right. And call your
also-
officer when you get out of jail and let them know what happened so that they can schedule your next appointment as well.
Okay, ma'am. I've been having problems with one of my emails, so I need to make sure y'all have a new email.
Okay, well, then you need to call your officer as soon as you get out so that you can update that. What is your email?
It's capital DAWG, capital TAZZ 67 at iCloud.com.
So G is in George, AWG is in George.
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. D as in dog.
Dog, okay. So dog Taz 67 at iCloud.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then also touch base with your officer as soon as you get out. And it's your responsibility to get this document signed, because if you don't sign it, you're going to be right back here, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so touch base with your officer and good luck to you.
It's my same officer, right? Teresa Mains.
Yes.
Okay.
And if not, you can call back and ask for Officer Vaquera. That's her manager, okay?
Okay.
Or reach out to your attorney and he can get in touch with me and we'll get you all squared away.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Sanchez, please stay in contact with Mr. Inostroza, and after he's been on Scram for 60 days, if we don't have any violations or any problems, you're welcome to reapproach and see if I'd be willing to take off the Scram and put him back on Smart Start.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right. Good luck, Mr. Inostroza. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Y'all are dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we got Tony back. We do. Back on the record on 654-070 and 654-071, State of Texas versus Jose Guevara. Mr. Hernandez, I think you were going out in a breakout room with Mr. Guevara to discuss the possibilities of whether he wanted to volunteer for inpatient drug rehab in substance abuse treatment facility or whether he elected to take the jail sentence instead.
That is correct, Judge. And Mr. Guevara, he's very much concerned about his 3-year-old son because he's the primary caretaker of that child. He's wanting to ask the court if the court will consider allowing him to enroll or participate in an inpatient treatment program while on probation that he pays for himself. through a private facility.
Where would such a facility be?
It would have to be someplace either in San Antonio or the surrounding area.
Okay, well, as you're well aware, Mr. Hernandez, having been in this arena for 30 or 40 years, inpatient drug rehab programs outside Bexar County are incredibly expensive. Most insurance companies only cover like 30 days, 28 days of an inpatient program. The substance abuse treatment facility program is a minimum of 120 days, which is what I'd be ordering, and a maximum of 180 days. But no, that's not something that's going to work, because unless he's independently wealthy, the insurance company is not going to cover him he needs several months of inpatient, not just 30 days. And even 30 days would be incredibly expensive at Laurel Ridge or some of these ritzy rehab places. So
yes,
great idea. It's just not really going to work.
I understand, Judge, but he thinks the insurance would cover it.
I understand. All right. So you ready to proceed on Mr. Guevara and 654070?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And I probably already did this, but let me go back over it. State your recommendation on Mr. Guevara and cause 654070.
Your Honor, it was to agree with probation, which was weekly UAs, enroll in IOP with CATS within 10 days, and then substantial compliance within 30 days.
Judge, may I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Mr. Hernandez, you mentioned that there may be issues where he may not qualify for SATF. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge. Yeah, yes.
Okay, so is he going to request jail time in lieu, being that the judge is not leaning towards a private inpatient?
They're not volunteering for setup, is my understanding.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Guevara and cause 654070. The court accepts your plea of true with an explanation. I grant the state's motion to revoke your probation. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. It says $1,000 fine plus court cost. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. This case to run concurrent with 654071. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Guevara and 654070?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Guevara and cause 654071. Once again, Mr. Hernandez, my assumption is that this is has similar circumstances and facts, and that this is not a contested motion to revoke community supervision either. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's just the same allegations.
Okay. So in cause 654071, on the motion to revoke community supervision, how does the defendant plead?
True, Judge.
And Ms. Gross, is there any variation on the theme between this case and 654070 as far as facts or Mr. Guevara's participation in probation?
No, Your Honor, everything is identical, except the fees on this case are that he's paid 0 and has a balance of 20 because I misstated the fees, which I corrected on the original case.
State recommendation.
It's the same, the weekly drug testing and intensive outpatient at CATS.
Okay.
That's the office.
I understand. State, do you have a recommendation on this one that's different than the last one?
No, Your Honor, it's the same.
Mr. Guevara, on cause 654071, the court accepts your plea of true on the motion to revoke community supervision. I grant the state's motion to revoke your community supervision. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. It's at $1,000 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. This case to run concurrent with 654070. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Guevara and 654071?
No, Your Honor.
You let Mr. Guevara. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Locke, you've been so patient. Are you ready on Ms. Suarez's case?
I am, Your Honor.
This is called 634471, State of Texas versus Stephanie M. Torres. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. The first item we need to take up is involving identifying your signatures on two documents. The first document is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Ms. Torres, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Locke, as attorney for Ms. Torres, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal, unquote. Is this your signature on this document also, Ms. Torres?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Locke, as attorney for Ms. Torres, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Locke, my understanding is this is going to be an uncontested motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that accurate?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Torres, in cause 634471 on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, ma'am?
True.
And Ms. Gross, would you please, and for the record, I apologize, representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross. Our mind is still under oath. Representing the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office are our Assistant Criminal District Attorneys Guillermo Flores and Megan Galloway. Now, Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Ms. Torres' probation, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Torres has been reporting as directed. We last saw her on July 30th of 2021. She has paid $100 towards her fees, has a balance of $1,287, and is delinquent $109.50. She's not completed any of her 36 hours of community service, and we show no proof of enrollment or completion in DWI education, victim impact panel, or the CATSNP program. She's had one negative drug test. This is her first violation report, first motion to revoke, has no criminal history. The issue that we're dealing with here today is the Smart Start mobile device. When she was placed on probation, she was originally given 5 days to obtain a device. She did not obtain a device until about 65 days later, which was August the 6th of 2021. And she had been placed on probation on June 10th of 2021. When she obtained a device, she did not follow the instructions of the court, and she obtained an Intoxilock device. When the officer discovered this, the officer advised her immediately that she needed to take that device back and obtain a Smart Start mobile device. She did not obtain a Smart Start mobile device until August the 18th of 2021, which was actually 72 days after she was placed on probation. Her officer is requesting that you extend her Smart Start mobile device an additional 2 months, and that the defendant shows substantial compliance within 30 days.
Ms. Gross, is Ms. Torres currently, as we speak, active on a Smart Start mobile device at 4 blows a day?
Yes.
Has she had any violations on her Smart Start mobile or missed any blows since she actually got a Smart Start mobile?
I'm double checking that for you right now. And it looks like when she was originally put on the device that she was given 3 blows, and the officer did update that to 4 blows. And as far as whether or not she has got any violations, give me about a minute and a half and I will tell you.
Did she have any violations on the Intoxilock device while she had that?
I don't have any record of that, Your Honor.
So that's a no, Your Honor.
Yeah, thank you. I guess what I'm getting at, we got basically procedural violations, but no really overt drinking alcohol, missing test violations. We just have the wrong device. Shannon, is that kind of accurate?
That is accurate, Your Honor. And I believe she's completed the victim impact panel while this was
Wonderful.
All pending. And I think we provided proof of that with our motion to set bond.
All right.
Go ahead, Susan.
Her Smart Start mobile is coming up right now. I just logged into the system. And it looks like to date, she does not have any known violations.
Well done, Ms. Torres. I would like to put a Smart Start mobile device on Mr. Locke. State, is there any statutory authority for me to do that? Because that would be kind of fun.
All I can say, he's a very good defense lawyer, Judge.
All right, I got it. Mr. Locke, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, just so you know, I haven't had a drink in something like 20 years. So there you
Oh
go.
my, I did not know that. Okay. I guess I don't need to buy you any drinks then. You're saving me money.
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Locke, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, we're just asking that you deny the MTR. Ms. Torres is going to do very well on your probation. This was a misunderstanding, and she transitioned over to the Smart Start Mobile and is going to do fine on that.
Okay, state recommendation?
Judge, it appears that the defendant showed good faith by completing one of the courses or programs. I think the state's okay if the court gives the defendant one more chance.
Okay. Well, with Mr. Locke's permission, I've got a question for Ms. Torres about how she got guided to an Intoxilock device instead of a Smart Start mobile. Because I have seen a document that pretrial services gives defendants, and it kind of infers that you have the ability to choose whatever you want out of all of these different options. Is that kind of what happened?
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't read fully my papers like I was supposed to. But one of the papers I did get said that I needed to install the Intoxilock in my vehicle within 30 days. So I was just under the impression I had to do that.
Okay, so did the pretrial services department actually designate that you were to get an Intoxilock, or is there just a mistake on the specific type of device we're dealing with?
It was just a mistake on the device that I was supposed to get.
Okay, I got it.
Judge, typically pretrial orders a device in the car, and then you order, and we go over extensively when we read their conditions that they have to switch it to a Smart Start, and that didn't happen.
I got it. 72 days to get a Smart Start, but we got one, so we're happy today. All right. Ms. Torres, in clause 6344771, court accepts your plea of truth with an explanation on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. I deny the state's motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, or to continue on deferred adjudication probation with all prior requirements and no sanction at this time, although I have the authority to put you in jail for 30 days to get your attention. Will that be necessary?
No, Your Honor.
Good answer, ma'am. I'm going to alter and amend conditions, adding substantial compliance within 10 days, which basically means any programs you're not currently registered for or actively involved in, you need to register for. You may not start them immediately, but you'll know what's coming. And the primary one is the Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug course. The Victim Impact Panel only takes 2 hours once you get involved in that, and the DWI education course. So we're good on Smart Start, and you're all blowing 4 times a day right now. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right, all good. State, what did I miss?
Judge, are you going to extend the time on Smart Start since we kind of got a?
Well, I mean, let's see. How long is she on probation for? A year? 1 year and 4 months? So 16 months, correct?
Yes.
So she done 8 months on both Smart Start Mobile and Intoxilock?
She didn't get Intoxilock until August 6th, according to our records.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
I did do Intoxilock on June 20th. That's when I had it installed in my vehicle. And then on August 18th, that's when I got the the mobile.
I'm going to give her credit for both Intoxilock time and Smart Start Mobile time. So once she gets a clean 8 months out of the 16 months she's on probation for, she's eligible to have it taken off. Are we there yet?
Thank you, Your Honor. Not yet, no.
Not quite. Okay.
Anyway, she gets credit for both, and we'll just call it a mistake and move along. Fair enough?
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So,
any further from the state of the defense on Ms. Torres?
Nothing further from the state, Judge.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Torres, thank you, Mr. Locke. You're out of here. Y'all been very patient. You sat around and watched all this go on, and people go to jail, and I'm sure Ms. Torres was having an exciting day. So it's